अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। तो दोस्तों, आपको पता है कि 12 जून को एयर इंडिया की 171 फ़्लाइट, जो कि इनबाउंड फ़्लाइट थी फ्रॉम अहमदाबाद टू गेटविक एयरपोर्ट लंदन, जिसको लंदन के लिए जाना था, जिसमें 230 पैसेंजर्स ऑन बोर्ड थे एंड देयर वर 12 crew members and as you know that it crashed within 1.7 1.5 kilometers of radius from the runway. अभी इस क्रैश के बारे में आपको पता है कि जैसे फ्लड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, फ्लड ऑफ एनिमेशन, फ्लड ऑफ वीडियोस, द टेलीविजन्स, द प्रोग्राम्स, द एविएशन एक्सपर्ट्स, they gave their opinions, they gave their particulars based on the expertise they have, based on the understanding they have. So what we have tried to do is that I heard all those experts. I tried to collect all those the information, major, the solid points which are over there, which are giving some kind of conclusive evidence. दो कि मैं अभी भी बिलीव नहीं करता हूँ कि जो अभी प्रिलिमिनरी रिपोर्ट्स में आया है, जिसमें फ्यूल स्विचेस जो बंद हुई थी, तो अब उनकी रीज़न क्या थी बंद होने की, जिनकी वजह से इंजन्स को फ्यूल बंद हुआ था और दोनों इंजन्स जो है फ्यूल सप्लाई बंद होने की वजह से बंद हो गई थी, जिसकी वजह से प्लेन ग्लाइड नहीं कर सका, उसने थ्रस्ट नहीं पकड़ा एंड द प्लेन अल्टीमेटली हिट एंड टू द कंपाउंड. तो सबसे बड़ी बात उसमें यह है कि वेस्टर्न मीडिया में दे आर ट्राइंग टू नाउ blame on a dead fish, means that they're trying to say that it was basically a pilot's deliberate attempt or a suicidal angle they are trying to ascertain, saying that the pilot had a medical history, he had the mother's demise, he was depressed, and he has committed suicide by killing all those 260 lives, more than that, ultimately in this crash. But the other thing that we are getting the cockpit recorder, जिसमें एक पायलट दूसरे पायलट को बोल रहा है कि क्या आपने फ्यूल स्विच को बंद किया, डिड यू पुट देम टू अ कट ऑफ मोड, और दूसरा पायलट उसको बोल रहा है कि नहीं, मैंने नहीं किया. सो इफ वी गो बाय दिस थ्योरी, ultimately understand that there is not a solid evidence which supports this particular theory कि it was a suicidal attempt, it was a suicidal crash. दूसरी एक थ्योरी जो इमर्ज हो रही थी इससे पहले, उसमें ये कहा गया था कि दोनों इंजन्स को शायद बर्ड स्ट्राइक्स की वजह से डैमेज हुआ, जिसकी वजह से दोनों इंजन्स जो है डिसफंक्शनल हुए एंड द प्लेन कुड नॉट ग्लाइड, couldn't take the thrust ultimately, and it ultimately hit within the radius of 1.5 kilometers from the runway. लेकिन इसमें भी एक्चुअली जान नहीं है, बिकॉज CCTV कैमराज में देखा गया कि देयर वाज नॉट अ मैसिव मूवमेंट ऑफ द बर्ड्स ऑब्वियसली ऑन दैट वेरी डे, especially at that particular point of time when there was this plane taking off. तो उस थ्योरी को भी रिजेक्ट किया गया. अब जो वेस्टर्न मीडिया है, इट इज़ रिपोर्टिंग दैट देयर वाज अ pilot's error. The pilot has basically put those switches on the cut off mode. The fuel was cut to both the engines, जिसकी वजह से दोनों इंजन्स बंद हो गए, और जब दोनों इंजन्स बंद हो गए तो फ्यूल सप्लाई जो है उसने थ्रस्ट नहीं लिया, ग्लाइड नहीं की, वो उड़ नहीं सका और वो नीचे आ गया और हिट हो गया. एंड देन अल्टीमेटली व्हेन इट हिट एंड it like balloon away, it's like a bomb ultimately, it's like the kind of radiations, the kind of the heat which ultimately emits once it strikes with somebody or with something, तो वो तो बड़ा खतरनाक होता है. And ultimately that causes that burn to all the passengers which are on board, और उनकी वजह से उनकी डेथ हुई. तो अब एक हम ये देख रहे हैं कि देयर इज़ नॉट अ कंक्लूसिव एविडेंस दैट सपोर्ट्स ईदर द थ्योरीज. या तो ये सुसाइडल एंगल था, या ये सुसाइडल एक अटेम्प्ट था from the pilot, who was basically in the depression mode. He had the mother's vertical demise, he had the medical history, he went to doctors, ultimately he was trying to recover. Medical check भी किया गया था उनका, and they were absolutely fit. अब दूसरा एंगल उसमें ये कहा जा रहा है कि there was not a manufacturing fault or a safety procedures which were violated that could have said कि इसकी वजह से कोई इसमें एक्सीडेंटल चांसेस बनते थे, बट we are not able to find any such kind of issues or mechanical faults or the violation of the safety procedures. तो इसका मतलब यही है कि there is still a lot of scope in this research. But the matter of fact is that, look, these 787 aircrafts, they're in numbers, and we don't know how many are right now in the skies, and we don't know thousands of people are right now in the skies in these airlines. If at all this is a mechanical issue, a technical snag which need to be rectified by the manufacturer, then we are putting the risks, the lives of all those people who are traveling on a daily basis in these aircrafts into the real risk. So इसका मतलब ये है कि we are trying to save somebody's face, we are trying to give the favors ultimately. तो जब से ये preliminary research से final research या final result इसका आएगा इस report का, we don't know what is going to happen till then. So there is an absolutely need of an hour to act, and to act honestly, act with sincerity, try to make sure that all the passengers who are traveling on these aircrafts on daily basis are safe and sound. But if you act, by giving the favors to those who are the manufacturers of these 787s, or the manufacturers of the parts, or the manufacturers of the engines, so then you are doing a big blunder. You are playing with the lives of hundreds and thousands of the peoples traveling in those aircrafts on a daily basis, because this is one of the largest mode of transportation that's been followed throughout the world. It's a global industry, aviation industry, one of the largest industry that जिससे लोग ट्रैवल करते हैं एक जगह से दूसरी जगह. तो इसका कंक्लूसिव एविडेंस जो है अभी ये है कि जो इनिशियल इन्होंने अभी दिए हैं इनपुट्स, जिसमें कहा गया इस रिपोर्ट में कि चूँकि स्विचेस, जो फ्यूल स्विचेस हैं, इनको कट ऑफ मोड पे रखा गया, लेकिन कॉकपिट से जब एक पायलट दूसरे पायलट को बोलता है कि क्या आपने इनको बंद किया, वो इसको क्लियरली बता रहा है कि आई डिड नॉट पुट देम ऑन द कट ऑफ मोड. So which means that this particular theory, where the Western media is saying that this has been a suicide that's committed by one of the pilots ultimately, does not have a solid grounds, because the pilot is saying that no, I did not do it. Categorically, he is saying. So there's a lot more that need to be done. There could be a scope where the manufacturing, kind of a thing can be improved, can be worked on. There could be defects that might have caused this kind of switches into the cut-off mode. So there's a great amount of research that need to be done, but it has to be done in the sincerity. It has to be done without giving any favoritism to any of the parties, whether it was a pilot's error, or whether it's a manufacturer's defect, whether there's some engine issues. It need to be brought very neat and clean before the public. So this is the need of an hour if we have to save the lives of hundreds and thousands, those who are on the skies on a daily basis, those who travel on 787s. We have tens and hundreds of 787s right now who are operating. So there has to be a sincerity. There has to be no favoritism. There's no scope for the favoritism at all. And if anybody is trying to give it, he's really playing with the lives of many hundreds, tens and hundreds of peoples. See you next time. Assalamu alaikum.